Beit Yosef, Maran quoted the Orchot Hayim, which was written in Provence, a region in southern France, in the early part of the 14th century. The Orchot Hayim recorded the custom in France that children would bang rocks or pieces of wood with Haman and his children's names written on them whenever Haman's name was mentioned during the reading of the Megilah. They did this to erase Haman and his children's names, meaning the names that they wrote on the rocks or wood would get erased by repeatedly banging them together. This custom is based on a midrash, on the verse about wiping out the memory of Amalek, which taught that their memory should even be erased from wood and from stones. In 14th century Spain, Rabbi David Abu Darham also recorded this as the custom in France. However, he quoted an earlier source known as Sephardic Minhag, which was written in Provence in the 12th century. Both the Sephardic Minhag and the Orchot Hayim also supported this custom with the verse in Megilah, B'Shem Rishayim Yerkab, the name of wicked people shall rot. Interestingly, in the Beit Yosef, Maran added that one should not make fun of customs, since they were not established without reason. And this custom of France is based on the verse V'Shem Rishayim Yerkab from the book of Megilah. In Italy, in the 13th century, the book Shiboleh HaLeket described the custom as banging their feet, or banging two rocks, or even banging pots when Haman or Zeresh were mentioned. Later in the 16th century in Poland, Muram suggested that originally rocks or pieces of wood with Haman's image or name written on them were banged together by the children to erase Haman, but not during the reading of the Megilah. However, eventually, due to confusion, the custom evolved to banging the wood or the rocks during the reading of the Megilah. There were also authorities who opposed the custom of banging during the reading of the Megilah because it prevents people from hearing every word of the Megilah and properly fulfilling their obligation to hear the reading of the Megilah. These authorities included Rabbi Yisrael Yaakov Al-Ghazi from Izmir, Turkey in the 18th century, Rabbi Abraham Palaji from Izmir, Turkey in the 19th century, and Rabbi Rafael Meir Panajel, who was the Rishon LeZion in Jerusalem at the end of the 19th century. In the beginning of the 20th century, Rabbi Rafael Aaron ben Shimon, who was the chief rabbi of Egypt, reported that the custom in Egypt was that the children only banged when the reader read the 10 sons of Haman. And after they finished banging, the reader would repeat the 10 sons of Haman in one breath. And the only other time that the children banged was after the Megilah reading, when they said Arur Haman, and that was it. This was recorded in his book on the customs of Egypt, Nihan Mitzrayim. The book Keter Shem Tov said that the custom was for both adults and children to bang when the reader read Haman Hara Hazeh, a second time for the 10 sons of Haman, and then a third time after the reading of the Megilah for Arur Haman. According to the Keter Shem Tov, the custom in the Middle East was that the children used wooden noisemakers. The adults banged with their feet, and the elderly would bang the wooden piece that holds the Megilah. What was the custom in Halab? Rabbi Shlomo Antebi Saka quoted Hakam Yitzhak Talwil, saying that in Halab they only banged with their feet, and they didn't use any noisemakers or anything else to bang. Similarly, in Hakam Yitzhak Shehebar's times in Argentina, they would bang lightly with their feet, both when Amalek was read from the Torah and when Haman was read from the Megilah. And even for Haman, they didn't bang every time Haman's name was read, only the first 3 or 4 times. And again, it was only banging with their feet. They did not use any other types of noisemakers. So the custom of banging during the reading of the Megilah began in France around the 12th century and was practiced by the children. Eventually, the custom spread to other places, including to Middle Eastern communities. In some places, adults also participated in the custom by banging their feet or even the wooden holder of their Megilah. In Halab, the custom was only to bang with their feet and in a manner that was not so disruptive, allowing everyone to properly fulfill their obligation of hearing the reading of the Megilah.